What's going on, everybody? We have Ross Christifulli from LeadCarrot all the way out of Wisconsin. Ross, tell us what it is that you do and how you generate money.
Yeah, I also have an agency like most of you guys here, so that's my main thing. And then we also have LeadCarrot. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of LeadCarrot, and I've married the two together. So I say it's my main thing because every single agency client I get, I put them on there. So
I love it, man. And if you could strip everything away, who do you think your ideal customer avatar is? And now I know, so Lead, and I just want to make sure, and also if the audience knows exactly what we're talking about. So LeadCarrot and your agency are essentially under the same umbrella, right?
they are, but my agency serves a different audience than LeadCarrot.
Okay, so let's do this just for the sake of metrics and time. Let's fully focus on LeadCarrot.
Sure.
That way, once we start drilling through, it'll make more sense because you're probably doing maybe different types of marketing and stuff for both. So
Yep.
not to confuse the audience, we'll stick with LeadCarrot. So I guess for LeadCarrot, who's your ideal avatar?
Agency owners looking to acquire clients.
Awesome. And how many team members do you have on your team? If you can just peel the onion back and break that down for us really quickly.
Yeah, so we actually only have 5 people on our team for LeadCarrot. When it comes to like our support and this and that. And then we do have another portion of LeadCarrot now, which is our call center. And right now we're getting near 30 people on there.
Wow.
So
Those are for the callers, right?
Yeah, those are callers.
That's the caller
So,
program.
but I just wanted to make LeadCarrot's a pretty small operation still.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are running lean, which is great, and you're doing good. I know, obviously, we know each other. We always talk off camera in private conversations, and I know you guys are doing very well. How many active members are currently using LeadCarrot today?
Just under 2,000. It floats back and forth. Just under 2,000.
And these are these active? Do you have like a free trial version where some people are free trial?
We don't have a free trial version.
Okay. So right around 2,000 people on active subscriptions using LeadCarrot, and these are separate 2,000 separate companies, right? Not individual people. Gotcha. Because people, obviously, for those of you guys out there who are familiar with CRMs and automation platforms and stuff like that, usually it's one company, and then there can be multiple users housed in that one company, right? So 2,000.
We don't even count. I'm sure that there's probably more users, but I'm counting just like accounts.
Just pure members. Yeah, accounts. Exactly. Okay, awesome. If you could take your entire list and put it together, let's say Ross tomorrow wanted to send a message to his audience, right? How many people would be on that list? If you combine your Facebook group, your email list, your everything that you have, your social media platforms, everything together, you want to send a message, how many people would you actually hit?
Probably 15,000. But I don't know, my deliverability rate sucks right now, so I'm pretty sure that I would not hit all 15,000. I would attempt to email 15,000 people, but I don't know how many it would land.
Let's dive into fun metrics really quick. What's the open rate on emails that you get?
To be honest, I have absolutely no clue.
Okay.
I don't even see. Here's the thing: is I am probably the worst when it comes to caring about that metric because all I care about is the sale. That sounds crazy, but like I found that open rates for me don't necessarily equate to more sales because it could have been a really clickbaity title and everyone opened it, but it didn't convert. So I tend to see every email blast that I send out, about 2 to 3% of them will convert into whatever that offer is. That's the metric I'm focused on. But I don't even send my own emails out. And that's why I say I don't really quite know what the open rate is because I don't live and breathe within that number.
That's good. That's good. And what's the pricing model look like for LeadCarrot? Let's say I come in, want to use it today. What am I looking at? What are the fees? How does it work?
Yeah, there's 2 options. You have a $47 option, which is because we do data searching, like data scraping and stuff that way. That gives you 315 searches per week. And you can have up to 3 teams, 3 users, 3 pipelines. On the $297 model, you go up to, I believe it's 1,800 searches per week. And then you have unlimited users, pipelines, etc.
Just so
you can put all your own clients and whatnot on it.
So just so the audience understands, so they're probably going to ask questions in their head. Well, what is this searches? What does searches mean, right? Can you quickly pull that back?
Yeah, in my old course, I used to teach people like how to scrape data, and I use like Chrome extensions, and I would go to Google and I would type like, loan officers, and then I'd scrape all that data, and then we would take that and we would go find all their social media data and all that. And then we just decided, let's just build a button where you push it and it does it all for you in a couple minutes. And so data becomes the bottleneck to any business. You ran a call center, you understand how that goes. And so for us, it's just a way to be able to scrape contact data, social media data. It also pulls things up like, do they have a pixel or not? Are they mobile friendly? What are their Yelp reviews, like their Google reviews? So that way you can quickly get some of that.
So you're saying essentially a search is I go in and I plug in salon, Miami, Florida. That's one search. Then 2 minutes later, I go in and I plug in salon, Boise, right? That's another search, right? Just we're all on the same page. Okay, cool. And I know that a lot of people in the industry, so, a lot of people are using D7 right now. What's like the biggest comparison that you would say between LeadCarrot and D7? As far as obviously D7, I know they don't have the whole CRM automations and all that, which is a huge one. But from like a data perspective, if somebody's looking to just purely get data out of it.
I'll tell you this, because I've done the side-by-side comparison of both from just a data standpoint. And there's pros and cons to both of ours. Eventually there will be more pros than anything with ours, but here's what I found. So their big thing is that we don't have is they support bulk scraping right now. So you could put in like 10 cities and like type it in, and then it'll go scrape them all for you at once. LeadCarrot does not do that yet. But with that, what I'd like to say is it takes like an hour or two for you to get that data. Well, maybe not that long, but like 30 minutes to an hour, where I could literally search all 10 of those in about 5 minutes and have the data on LeadCarrot. Gotcha. The other thing is they cap you out at a daily amount of searches. So they might allow you to do 10 searches per day. And that's because they're trying to manage the queue system on the back end without bogging it down. We don't do that. We say 315 a week. And the reason why that's important is because as an agency owner, if your sales team runs out of data, you don't want to be like, I can't scrape anymore until tomorrow. Like, I want to sit down. I don't want to be scraping all week. Like, I want to sit down on Sunday night and scrape for the entire week, and I don't want to have to think about data for the remainder of the week. From a data standpoint, it's all the same crap. I hate to say that, but it's all public data.
Yeah.
It's not like we're pulling something from Equifax or places that people don't know how to get it from. It's all public data. I will say this, that when I used to utilize D7, I got a lot of these email addresses that looked like they were auto-generated. I don't know. I'm not going to make the accusation. I'll let people say for themselves, but my bounce rate was higher.
Gotcha. Hey, makes sense. And do you have a value ladder right now for LeadCarrot? How are you getting people in, and are you getting them in straight into LeadCarrot? Are you going through a VSL? You have a coaching program on the back end for LeadCarrot. Talk to me about that really quick.
Yeah, so for LeadCarrot, the big thing for us was at first we just wanted to get users on, and then we were losing users because they weren't activating. In software, there's something called, this, but I'll explain this to the audience, user activation, which means they hit certain key KPIs. So like they added their integrations, they created a pipeline, they scraped data, they added leads. And we were seeing people sign up, but we saw only a small fraction of people actually activate. And when that would hit, if they don't activate, then they're not going to continue using it in their life. So what I found is if I created mini courses, like you might remember I was putting out the cold email machine one pretty hard, or my 5-day email sequence, I'm giving them a mission up front that when you sign up, you're going to go accomplish this mission to get clients. And by doing that, they would go set it up. And that's helped our retention substantially because we're activating a much larger number of users and our churn has dropped. I mean,
you're making your products stickier. You're indoctrinating them, not only indoctrinating them, but you're essentially telling them, hey, I know that if you do A, B, and C, you're going to stick around longer. So I'm going to bring you through a process to make sure when you sign up, you do A, B, and C, right?
Exactly.
What's your churn rate right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, our churn rate right now is still higher than what we would like. So for every 10 users that we have that sign up, about 4 of them will leave within 30 days.
Okay.
So
month over month churn rate around like 40%, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, and you guys I know you guys are somewhat of a newer platform, right? Which is fine because even DashClicks is a newer platform, and we have churn as well. Every company does, right? So that's totally fine. But I know you, like I said, I know you personally, you're working on optimizing that just like all of us software guys are. So that's good.
Yeah, and part of that is, people will come in, and I get it. But as a software that's newer, you might have a frustration with like your onboarding process. Like some people get it and some people just don't. And, you know, and then on the other side of it, there's also little glitches and things that might pop up here and there. And then the other aspect of it is agency owners, which is what our main audience is. Most of them are beginners.
Yep.
And they get this with the hope of landing a client. And you can, if you actually go use it, but it's just a tool. Like you still have to know how to swing the hammer. And so if they don't, by the end of the month, land a client, $47 a month becomes hard for them to, you know, for someone who's a startup.
To that.
Yeah,
so subscriptions become difficult to pay without revenue coming in.
Exactly.
Yep. So what would you say is the biggest needle mover for LeadCarrot? What was like the one thing that you guys did that took you from A to Z so fast? Like the biggest thing that made the biggest impact on LeadCarrot?
Yeah, the thing that made the biggest impact was when we first started LeadCarrot, we were only a scraper, which was fine. That was great. But I view that as like the gas. And when we provided a vehicle as well, that gas could go into.
That back-end automation system. For those of you guys who are not familiar with LeadCarrot, they have, you know, full-blown CRM with, you know, pipeline automations and a bunch of really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, so that would be the biggest needle mover. And it's funny to use that term. Every single week, me and Andre get on a call and say, this week, what's the next needle mover? Because your audience needs to feel like because like we'll hold back features and stuff for a little while so that way we can release them and keep that momentum going. And sometimes a needle mover has nothing to do with new features. It comes out, it's me teaching people a new way to apply new features. Like yesterday, I showed how to create a text message bot within LeadCarrot. So a client lead can come in and it'll say, hey, did you schedule yet? If not, say schedule. And when they hit schedule, great, here's the calendar to schedule. Like I showed them how to do that. The abilities and the tools have been there for the last 6 months. People just never thought to use it in that way. Yep. So I would say that the other needle mover is just teaching people the application of it.
Yeah, and that makes sense. What are you guys doing right now to start conversations to get actually people into LeadCarrot? What's like the top of the funnel look like for you?
Yeah, right now it's pretty much all through ads is how I'm getting people in. I have a lot of content that goes out there, and then it doesn't take long of digging into who am I to start finding LeadCarrot.
Yep.
So there's that, and then there's word of mouth. But for us, a lot of it is ads and lead magnets and stuff like that. I have an agency, and I use it in my own agency. So as I'm sharing content, people are seeing it, and it's more of me documenting my processes within my own agency and showing people how this works.
What do you think the split would be between paid and organic of people signing up to LeadCarrot? The source.
It's probably right now a solid 50-50. Obviously not exact, but our organic stuff is actually starting to take over. Not in a bad way, but our organic stuff is starting to blow up. I've never been a good organic marketer my entire life. Like it's just not what I've been my strong suit is like. You can get 10,000 people into a software like you did organically. I don't have that skill. Like that's not what I've done. And I think it's really cool when you can do that because those people you tend to have more meaningful relationships with. I've always done everything through just paid ads and like,
hey, it's working. It's working. So you know what I mean? Pat yourself on the back because it is working. Yeah,
it's a great, I'm a big proponent of paid ads, but what I'm getting at is I truly think that it's good to have a little bit of both. And my organic stuff that I've really been pushing is mainly YouTube. I've really been pushing YouTube. YouTube ads, but also YouTube organic.
Okay. I got you. I see what you're saying. So you're posting a lot on your YouTube channel and you're getting the subs up, the view times up, and the more people that view and subscribe will eventually probably buy.
Yeah, and I don't even have a large YouTube channel. And if you look at my videos, most of them only get maybe like 100 views or so. But the people who are watching are buying.
They're converting well.
That's the thing that I think is meaningful about YouTube is I look at that and I'm like, I have such horrible stats, but yet I can clearly see like this is helping us convert. So I'm just going to keep posting on YouTube. And, you know, they say that all it takes is a couple videos to pop and then all of a sudden your YouTube can blow up.
What do you think the most successful automation is that you have within LeadCarrot? What's like the coolest automation that one either saves you the most time or just makes you the most revenue for your company? What's the one automation you love the most?
The drip feature. And the reason I like the drip feature is because I can fill one pipeline. I can sit down and fill up a pipeline with, 5,000-10,000 leads. And then I can set up that drip feature to say I want 500 a day to go through my outreach sequence. And what that does is that allows me to be hands off, because I'll see like calls coming through and appointments being set from our team, because I have it all automated. So it's like, if they don't respond to the voicemail and they don't respond to the email, it goes into my call center. My call center then gets that and tries to get them back. So like it's like literally the very first thing in front of the machine. And if I set it
Fuels
up,
the machine, essentially.
yeah,
That's what just fuels the machine every day. It's gas.
Yeah, exactly. The data is the gas. So as long as I keep that with data, now soon we have an automation coming where it's going to detect like, oh, wow, you've only got 500 leads left. So you can set that limit. It'll auto go scrape more data from a city you haven't scraped from, pull that data in, and then the machine is like,
never ending, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's great. I know this is a stupid question. What's your favorite CRM? Yeah. All right, we'll take that. What does your sales process look like for LeadCarrot? Is it low touch, or is it just like people coming in, they're signing up? You're not really doing demos.
Pretty low touch. Yeah, we tried. Actually, we had hired somebody from ClickFunnels, and we tried to do like the one-on-one live demo thing. And it was working. Like, we were getting people to sign up, and I guess the thing about those is we were always pushing just annual to make it worth his time.
Yeah.
But if you just side by side it, people were buying LeadCarrot because of the data, the content, the things that we had, and we didn't need it. Gotcha. So I'm pretty much the only salesperson for LeadCarrot right now, which I know sounds a little cliche because Russell Brunson says that as well, but that's just the truth. Like,
yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, and I feel the same way. But
yeah, and support, I will say this: our support team is also kind of like sales, and the reason for that is because our biggest acquisition on LeadCarrot is we run Google ads to blogs, and while they're reading the blog, it engages them through a chat box, and it'll engage those people who are reading. And when they respond, it's my support people that are actually selling. So
gotcha.
That
makes sense. What do you 100 people hit the LeadCarrot website. How many people are signing up? What's your average conversion rate?
About 3%.
Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good. What are you doing with the other 97% of the people?
Well, we retarget on ads, but I also have where when you're going to exit out of the screen, there's a pop-up that says, hey, do you want my free 5-day agency sequence for nurturing your leads? And it's 5 days of copy that it's the same copy I'm using in my own agency. So if somebody opts into an ad or they schedule an appointment, they start getting my emails that warm them up before our call. It's the same exact thing I'm using, and I give it to them. And then once they get it, on the thank you page of that is a video of them seeing how to install that into LeadCarrot with another prompt.
So you're educating them on something, but they have to obviously have LeadCarrot to use it, right? Which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to. Like, if you have ActiveCampaign or one of these other softwares, you could plug the copy into it. So I'm not trying to, I don't want them to feel like I'm bait and switching them or like doing something, trying to deceive them into joining LeadCarrot. The goal is to get them on there. But the video shows them it's so easy with LeadCarrot. Gotcha. Because there's softwares out there, I won't say the name, but there's a competitor agency software probably everyone knows. And if you wanted to set up an automation, the opportunities page and the automations, you have to try to dynamically think and be like, okay, if they're in here, so I got to set up this trigger and this action. And it's so confusing. You have to really think about it. Where with LeadCarrot, it's like you're just putting it where you want in the pipeline. You don't have to think about it.
That makes sense. How much revenue has LeadCarrot generated in the last 12 months?
The software on its own probably isn't generating as much as the upsells within the software.
Let's take one step back real quick. So what are those upsells? Just so that the audience can understand and learn from it.
Within the software.
Gotcha.
So I have and the other thing too is that we sell annual memberships, and in the past we sold a bunch of lifetime memberships as well.
Yep.
So the thing is that you might have, say, almost 2,000 users, but maybe 800 of them are annual subscriptions. So it's like your monthly reoccurring revenue. You always think, how can I keep that MRR up? Yep. And so that's even though it's not necessarily monthly reoccurring, it's basically upsells to increase the lifetime value of existing people. So I've got my other digital products that I'll sell them and things that way.
Would you say LeadCarrot, just the software itself, does over 7 figures in revenue just from the software side of it? Okay.
Not yet. Not
Cool.
yet.
Obviously, you're doing over 6
I don't
figures
know if
for sure.
I want me going like deep into number details just yet, but we're not a 7-figure software yet, and I have no problem sharing that transparency.
Yeah,
In
that's
fact,
totally fine.
oftentimes, because of the cost of running LeadCarrot and like development and different things that we have going, oftentimes I actually have to take money from my agency and be like, LeadCarrot's running out of money.
Dude,
let me
tell you something. We built DashClicks with our agency money. So we're in this, and you know what I realize, especially for software creators, most software creators will build software to solve their own problem first, number one. Okay. Most softwares, if you look at it, also start from agencies. They were agencies, and then they built this product to solve a problem within their agency. They use the agency money to fund the software, and then they realize that just the software is better than having an agency, so they start focusing on the software side. Not that everyone does that. Obviously, we have our retail agency, and we have DashClicks as well, right? Very similar to you have the LeadCarrot, right? And then you have your own internal agency, which both have separate revenue models and are both producing revenue. But yeah, I see a lot of commonalities in that, especially from people who are creating software. I see a lot of people coming from the agency space, creating a software and funding that software with the revenue from the agency.
One thing that I think people don't think about, though, and I don't want to go into offshoot because I know you wanted to do rapid fire questions here, but a lot of people think they start a software and that that's going to be the gold mine forever. But what they don't realize is like all of a sudden there's new platform updates. Google Firebase just did an update and this and that. And there's so much cost in to running it. And I'm actually the kind of person where I don't mind putting money into LeadCarrot. So the reason we have those times, if I didn't run any ads, we would probably never run into those issues where it's like LeadCarrot's running out of money. So LeadCarrot needs us to put more money in. But I run it like as close as I can to, you know, we don't have like, LeadCarrot doesn't have this huge bank account because Ross spends almost all of it on ads in development. Yep. And then what we do, and I just know like, hey, my business is going very well. My agency is a 7-figure agency. You know, like we've got a lot of good things. So if we come to the point where we need that, I'll put money back into LeadCarrot. But if you look at it, we are not VC funded. Most softwares, they get millions and millions of dollars funded into them, and they burn through that cash so quick on stupid stuff. They just burn through that cash, and they're not even profitable for years. So I'm totally okay with running it the way that we are, because I feel like
you're running lean, but what you're doing is you're building an asset, digital asset for yourself, right?
Yeah,
so
I think that I see the light.
Yeah, which is great. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Aside from LeadCarrot, what's your favorite software?
Right now, Kartra. I don't like the support of Kartra, but I do like Kartra because I love the video hosting in it. I can do so much with tagging people who watch specific parts of my video. I know if they saw my offers, if they didn't see my offers.
I'm using it a lot for remarketing for the most part. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's a tie almost between Kartra and Zapier.
Okay, cool. And then if you could give a new business owner one piece of advice to shave years of wasted time, what would that one thing be?
Just focusing. And also, along with that focus, the reason is not just, it sounds cliche to say just focus, but it really does matter because focus makes you relentless.
Yeah.
And that's what I found. So two people can do the same exact thing and one gets an amazing result and the other didn't. But typically, if you start peeling back layers of that onion, why the person didn't get results, they struggled with shiny object syndrome. They had all these different things going in plans, and I know people who right now they're like they have no income and like building an e-com store, an e-com funnel, and an agency, and it's like, dude, none of them are working. Stop them, do just one. And the other thing that goes with that is don't look at people like Chad and myself and think that you need to do what we're doing right now in order to be successful. You have to think, what did we do when we first started? Because if I tried to do everything I'm doing right now, even just 3 years ago, I would have never been successful. I couldn't have done it. But you have to go through those steps, and that's why you have to be careful. You can get into a program where people are like, hire all these people, do this, and you have no revenue. That can be a struggle. Like you need to you got to take those steps.
Baby steps, one step at a time. I'm a big believer in slow and steady growth as long as the growth is there and it's steady. I don't like the big ups and downs in businesses. But guys, you guys heard it first. Ross Christifulli, all the way from Wisconsin with LeadCarrot. Ross, thank you so much for joining us, brother. And I'd love to have you on in the near future, man.
For sure. Thanks.
Have a great one.